everyone, my name is Carrie. I'm a full-time working mom and a homeschool mom to one rising second grader. Today I'm going to share with you our summer plans. We've already started some of this because we did end our first grade curriculum in the middle of May. We had taken off the month of March because we went to the Philippines. I'm going to post a video about that eventually. So we decided to go ahead and homeschool through the summer. So I wanted to review some of his first grade math with confidence concepts because he wasn't very fast with adding and subtracting. So I went to the Good and Beautiful and got the free PDF. I printed out about 17 pages of their first grade review. I also printed out a little bit of their second grade, and I just put it in this little binder. And one of the things I do like about this Good and Beautiful is that they emphasize place value, and that's going to be really helpful for second grade when we get into the double digit addition and subtraction. The way that they do this, it does match up with his manipulatives. Like you can see the counters and how that works, and it's just something different for him to see because he was getting burnt out with doing math with confidence. We're going to continue doing math with confidence, but it's nice to have like a change of scenery, something different. And the other thing we're doing is I had started this last year where we'd review with IXL, the first grade math workbook. So we're continuing doing that. And we've started doing some of the second grade subtraction also. And for another logic kind of thing, we're finishing up our beginning coding workbook that he just did a little bit whenever he felt like it last year, but the end of this actually has some fun stuff. They have this origami project, so I went ahead and moved to the end of that book so he would have those fun projects. And then I got this book for last year, but we never got around to using it. So this summer I'm going to start this. It has some budgeting for like when you're at the grocery store or a restaurant, so some practical life skills math. So I'll be doing that this year for math. And then moving on to language arts, we finished up our All About Reading level 2. And so we went ahead and just moved into level 3. We just finished lesson 5, and this is going well. And I didn't do any grammar. Well, towards the end of first grade, I started to use this book a little bit, this Evan Moore Grammar and Punctuation. He did learn a little bit of punctuation in kindergarten as well. So I've started using this book more this summer, and then I've also brought in this book called Grammar Castle, and it tells a story about lady noun and king or prince verb, and there's just this whole story here. There's also some writing practice, so he's learning the parts of speech, punctuation, and how to make a paragraph. And then we're also using this for our handwriting this summer. Handwriting Without Tears, Printing Power. Last year we used Draw Right Now and a kindergarten workbook that I had that had some handwriting in it. It really didn't go that well, but ever since we started this Printing Power, his handwriting has improved a lot just in the past few weeks since we started this Handwriting Without Tears. And we're also doing Explode the Code. We started this last year. We've done a little bit of 2.5 and 3 last year. So I'm just having him go back and do each page in order on the 2.5, and we're going to finish this book this summer, I think. And so this helps him with spelling. Speaking of spelling, we also did All About Spelling, level 1 last year. But this summer, what I'm doing is I'm just going back over those word lists and dictating the words to him and letting him practice spelling those words. And at least once, usually twice a week, I review the phonics rules that we have from All About Reading and All About Spelling as well. And then I brought in some music theory this year. Last year we practiced the keyboard a little bit with the beginner book, but like piano sheet music. But now we are learning what the treble clef is and how to draw that in the bass clef and how to draw the notes and what a whole note is, half note. So we work on this a couple of times a week. We do a page of that. And then for history, I started a Viking unit. And this is from Little School of Smiths. There are just a lot of fun activities in here. So this coming fall, we're going to learn about Native Americans, Christopher Columbus, and the colonies. So I wanted to go ahead and talk about Leif Erikson and his voyage to the U.S. or North America before Columbus was here. And so we can make a ship is one of the projects. We're going to make a helmet. So this looks really cute and it looks like a lot of fun. Um, Here are one of the picture books that I got to go with this one. And we've already read some of this book. Who was Leif Erikson? And I got this Adventures of Odyssey book, The Imagination Station Voyages with the Vikings. This is one of the spines that go with the Little School of Smiths. Well, that they require to go with their curriculum. You wouldn't want to be a Viking explorer. And then this is the other spine that goes with the Little School of Smiths curriculum, Eyewitness, DK Eyewitness Viking. So that's history for the summer. And then for science, my son requested a unit on electricity. That's not what I had planned. So it's kind of spontaneous, playing it by ear. But I found, I think it's called Core Knowledge. Yeah, Core Knowledge has free PDFs. And so I printed out this one on electricity and magnetism. And we're going to read this story about this little girl whose mother is an electrician, and we'll learn about electricity there. Here are one of the books that I got from the library recently. And I thought I was going to read like a story. I read half of the book with him, and I was so impressed. There's so much information in just one 2-page spread. I think I could write a study sheet for every 2-page spread and actually make a curriculum. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. I haven't decided, but we're going to finish reading the other half of it and read some of the other books we got from the library, and we'll see. But I think I do see more study of electricity in our future because he does seem like he's very interested in it. But what I had planned was the Blossom and Root level 1, because we did the level 0 last year. We loved it. So I printed off most of this, and we've done one of the book seeds that go with it. This one's called Solving the Puzzle Under the Sea, and that was a really good book. We enjoyed that. We did the hands-on project where you put aluminum foil in a bucket with blue water and you make the mountain range under the ocean. So we've learned about earthquakes and volcanoes in here so far, and I'm really excited for when we get to the part about weather. And I think that the part about hurricanes will coincide with the peak time of our hurricane season here in Florida. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. And we have a narration notebook that goes along with this Blossom and Root science curriculum. Now, this is one of the books that they recommend as an optional book to read. I think it should be a required spine. It is so good. It tells like a story where these people are in this vehicle. They're going to go to the center of the earth. They're going to go under the ocean. They're going to go up into space. And so I'm just picking out chapters that go with whatever wonder we're at with Blossom and Root, if you're familiar with it. They're each lesson's called a wonder. So I really like this book. I got it from the library first, and then I loved it so much I ended up buying it. And so the spines that I'm using is this one, and it has really pretty pictures. And then I also have DK Planet Earth. This is the other spine that I'm using with that, Blossom and Root. Also, for language arts, we're continuing to review Visayan, which is my husband's language from the Philippines. And we started to learn that around January of this year. We went to the Philippines in March. And so a couple of times a week, I just spend a few minutes reviewing what we have already learned on that. And also, we go to the library a lot with friends usually, and there are a lot more events coming up this summer. Fossils. The library is just putting out a lot of information about fossils this summer, so that does go along with the Blossom Root Level 1. And they also have a lot of art projects, some dinosaur art projects coming up, some American 250th celebration art projects. And then we also have a lot of play dates with our friends. We meet them at the playground. And we've done some roller skating. He goes to jiu-jitsu twice a week in the afternoon. So we are staying really busy and we're having a lot of fun. I hope some of this information was helpful to you guys. Bye. See ya.